Chess, it's a fascinating game. As a child, I remember teaching myself from the back of a cardboard box. Later, that led to time at the library starting a chess club, and eventually it took me even to tournament halls. You know, I can still taste and see the silence of a hall filled with people battling it out on chessboards with only the sound of a little clock ticking. I never was all that good, and I eventually stopped tournament chess, and I think the reason was, to get really good, you had to study openings, and you had to study games that had been played. I just wasn't willing to do that. Somehow the game had just lost all of its innovation. What might chess teach us about strategic communication in an organization? And what's the connection with stories? Well, I'm going to focus on two things, and they're both P's: patterns and people. It turns out that the really good chess players are not computers. They just simply are really good at remembering and seeing patterns. Well, guess what? Stories are all about patterns. It's a swirl of patterns all around us. The second thing is people. You know, as I move these pawns on the board, it occurs to me that people and pawns are very similar in organization. It's the people that carry the messages in the organization, not the explicit ones, not the encoded messages that we think are in our policy manuals and procedures, but really it's the peer-to-peer network, and we're learning more about that through social media. And it's also interesting to note that this pawn could actually become a queen. And so our communications, as carried by people, are tremendously powerful in our organization. So, are you resigned to the rules of explicit communication? Or are you ready to leverage the power of stories through the people and the patterns in your organization?